I'm about to show you the one unfair advantage every single B2B business can create. I've been hit with a lot of questions on, does your model work if you have a B2B service business? No product, no AI native. Well, it does as long as you have an unfair advantage. For some service businesses, that might be breakthrough research. For others, they might not have something they can point to. So whether you're a B2B service business, an AI native B2B business, or a B2B software business, I'm about to show you something that every single B2B business can use to give them another unfair advantage in their toolkit. And it's called the B2B Learner Flywheel. If you're new to flywheels, flywheels are really simple. What it essentially means is that happy customers leads to more customer satisfaction, which leads to more growth, which leads to more happy customers, which leads to more customer satisfaction, which leads to more growth. Effectively, it's a slow compounding model versus drastic pivots. As you improve and improve your service delivery, more customers get more satisfied, hence more happy customers, hence more growth. Now, the great thing about flywheels, and you should put them in their business, what they do over time is they lower obstacles to purchase, they lower customer acquisition costs, and they increase profit. Because your customer acquisition cost is lower, you're making more money than ever per customer. So even if you aren't using this to attract a distribution partner, you should be doing it in your business just to make the sales more profitable. So, how does it work? I'm about to give you sort of 2-3 tips that you can do to put in a B2B learner flywheel so you don't just have to rely on a referral once you've delivered the right outcome. Generally, the way a B2B flywheel does work in a simple customer buying pattern is customers become aware of you. That's when they become a lead. As they consider or qualify purchasing from you, their awareness level increases. Then they purchase, then they are retained, and they increase their loyalty. And then last but not least, you help them achieve the dream outcome that they've purchased. And they go from just being loyal to being an advocate. And the advocate, being now a highly satisfied customer, is happy, so they refer you more customers. And this is the traditional B2B service flywheel. Now, in my old business, it took around 9 months to sell to a large enterprise. That sucked, so we couldn't just rely on this, and about 3 years to deliver an enterprise transformation. So how the hell can we get referrals before it hits 3 years? And how the hell can we do that in 30 days or within 90 days of the whole sales process? Well, I'm about to show you that you can do it, and you do it by focusing on something that rarely anyone focuses on, because it's messy, because it's a little bit harder to do, and it actually requires you to be more of a human. And we call this the learner flywheel. And it occupies on a simple principle that you can actually make this flywheel work before customers hit the dream outcome if they learn before they earn. So if you can help them learn skills at any part of this journey, the more valuable skill, the better. For them to solve their own transformation, they will refer people before they actually get the dream outcome, creating a learner flywheel business and giving you these benefits: lower obstacles to purchase, lower cost of acquisition, and increased profit because you're getting warm, hot leads coming from highly advocated buyers. Very cool stuff. So where did we learn that you could put skills in to your sales process with a customer as a B2B service business? Well, we found that it fits in 2 spots really neatly. One spot is after purchase and retention. It sits in here, and it's part of a normal onboarding experience. Now, there's a lot of things that allow you to do this. But the main thing is actually getting your hands dirty. That might sound odd, but customer onboarding to your software platform is not getting your hands dirty. Getting into shared work and actually helping them solve the problem with your tool, service, and doing it with you is actually the best way of doing it. So how we overcame this is we actually made the offer that our customers first buy being a done with you offer. So we inserted a done with you offer here and built the expectation that we're going to come in, deliver part of the transformation with you, actually get you started towards your first goal on the way to achieving your dream outcome. And how we show up and get our hands dirty drastically increased the amount of leads that we got in the first 30 days. Why? Our customers didn't really know what a done with you offer was at the time. 2, most of the consultants they get generally told them, here's what they do wrong, versus actually rolling up their sleeves and turning up and solving the problem. And last but not least, we built the expectation that we did it, so they actually opened up more problems, more doors, and gave us more uncomfortable truths to look at. This is the first way that you can help your customers learn before they earn the dream outcome, and you benefit from huge lead awareness because you teach them skills that you have that they don't have, and they get to see you applying it right there in their problem. So if you give them a sandbox to operate in and they get to see your skills because you've sold them a done with you offer, all of a sudden, just after purchase in the first 30 days, we're getting referrals to other customers who have the same problem because our trust has skyrocketed from their buyer, even though they haven't achieved the dream outcome of the transformation. That is the number one place that nearly every B2B service business or B2B business could apply tomorrow, which is a done with you offer right after purchase can drastically increase your flywheel because the customer gets to see your skills in the first 30 days and learn by seeing you do it and doing it with them. The second option that we found that drastically increased the amount of referrals before they even purchased, which was an awesome, awesome result, was something that we called the insight meeting. We always delivered the insight meeting after we qualified a customer and got to shared belief. So they were aware of us. We sat them down for their first meeting. We told them our vision. We told them where they were going. We clarified their doubts. We showed them how those companies change. And we then booked in an insight meeting. And so we wanted to go from shared belief to then shared learning, knowing that that model builds trust. What we didn't know what would happen when we did this is we started to build this insight meeting to be super compelling. At the time, we didn't really think it through. We just didn't want to lose any leads. So we tried to operate on a principle of applying extreme value at every meeting, knowing we were selling to large enterprise and knowing that if you're dealing with a small startup from Australia, how many shots on goal do you really have with someone like Citibank? The insight meeting, we actually, 1, framed it as a learning meeting. 2, we would bring them insights about their business that they didn't have by applying our tools to the problem and the public profile of the business into the session. So for my old company, we would actually show them how many open job roles they had. We would then show them how easy it was us to their fill rate. So how many they filled, how many they didn't, how many days it took for them to fill, and how many days we could fill with our own pipeline. That's sort of pretty unique. We'd be able to say, hey, it's 97 days to fill this cybersecurity position. We could fill it in 7. Then we took it another step further. We then scraped every single job description that they had and actually built them a skill framework. We gave them that skill framework in every meeting. Why was that unique? Well, it was super unique because it allowed us to apply what we call guided practice. We actually could show them that a skill framework was the main thing that stopped businesses adopting a skills-based hiring model, which was the transformation the enterprises we were dealing with were trying to sell. And also, it allowed us to demonstrate that we were good teachers because we could walk them through our framework, how we built it, how they could build it themselves, and then gave them the walk remote material to do it, including the skill framework. The last thing that we did extremely well in the Insight meeting was run a transformation survey. This was a huge learning experience for a customer because the main things that stops a B2B organization changing is actually a theory of change, or the steps that you have to progress to, or the map that lays out in front of you in order to get your organization to the dream outcome. And so by having that transformation survey, rather than jumping into pain points and going from strategic down to tactical, we could keep it at strategic and allow them to self-diagnose using 4 to 6 questions where they were at in the theory of change that we had for our market problem. What that allows people to do is get consensus, but it also allowed us to sort of step back and let the customer diagnose where they're at. Now that we had given them a new insight, we had given them a new skill, they could actually assess with pretty good confidence whether or not they could do the change and whether they could do the change from the change position they were in. That experience also, an hour long, not that long, sometimes an hour and a half, always best done in person if you can pull it off, went from being something that we thought was just hugely creating value to build trust to becoming a huge engine to generate us more referrals before the client even purchased. For example, you'd sit there might be a quiet VP or C-suite person on the call. They'd be like, hey, that was a fantastic Insight meeting. I actually have an old colleague of mine at Business X, and we were talking about the same problem. I would love him or her to experience that exact same meeting. That happened a significant amount of time. I would actually suggest that we got way more referrals from the Insight meeting versus the done with you offer in the first 30 days or 90 days of running the sales experience. Now that we have a very clear learning experience where either they're learning the skill of how to do it themselves without us, or they're seeing us apply the skill in the flesh, we're really displaying ourselves as a trusted advisor and teacher and drastically increasing the amount of leads before a client achieves the dream outcome. If you do this enough, your cost of acquisition will go so far down, and the increase in the amount of customers that achieve the outcome percentage will drastically increase. Then fundamentally over time, you will develop a B2B Learner Flywheel that is extremely valuable to a large distribution partner who has been around, who struggles to get their customers to change or to get them to adopt bold ideas. And you can actually show them this model and apply it to the co-sell process for your service and their product. All of a sudden, you've gone from just being a startup that might not have any unfair advantages to being a trusted advisor with a learner flywheel that's allowed you to significantly lower CAC and grow your top line. This is 100% the unfair advantage that I recommend to every B2B service business that's struggling to crack 1 million, 10 million, or 30 million in revenue. It is super underused, and the reason we don't do it is because it's messy and because we have to be okay with that people want to believe and learn skills more than they want to just leverage and earn money. But if you're okay with that and you want to start working with counterparts and driving your business from a place of helping people achieve it and achieve an outcome versus just sell them something, this could drastically provide some substantial growth to your business and improve its profitability. So next time someone says, hey, you're a service business or you're a young B2B business, you have no unfair advantages, feel free to pull up a slide deck that shows how your cost of acquisition decreases and your profit increases because of this super targeted learning experience that you can now chuck into your biz. Good luck.